Okay, welcome guys to the next Blender tutorial. It has been a while. One of my hard drives decided to completely give up on me. I can't bring the hard drive back, unfortunately. I'd done so many tutorials within that morning, and I was like so happy because I was like, right, I just need to upload these tutorials. And then the very end tutorial that I did, everything just stopped working, and nothing was recording, and I thought, oh, it's the hard drive. It must be. You know what I mean? It must have just run out of space. But no, the entire hard drive's just given up. So we're trying to get it back with rewiring and stuff like that, but we don't know whether we're gonna get it back. So I have to redoing basically most of the tutorials that I did. So we're gonna be making a record player today, just one of those basic kind of oldie worldy record players. Now I am taking inspiration from someone who's made a record player online, kind of drawings and stuff like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go S, just scale up your default cube just a little bit. S again, scale it down. Gosh, there must be a lot of pollen in the air today, my nose is killing me. Go to edit mode. We're going to go E-fret extrude, but don't move it. Scale inwards, just slightly, so you've got a bit of a lip. And then we're going to go E-fret extrude and just bring it outwards. Now, you kind of want like a little box thing going on. So it kind of looks like a kind of gift box, if you will. So what we're going to do, we're going to do wooden texture on the top here, and we're just going to do black on the bottom here. But what I want to do, go back to object mode, and then we're going to go add. And we want to add cylinder. Now the cylinder is going to be the feet, so to speak, of the box. So if you press 7 on your number pad, you should go straight to the top. If you don't have 7 on your number pad, go to view. Line view, it should be the top one. So it should just be straight down. Let's see, viewpoint, top, number 7, yeah? So, with these little parts, we want to go G, and we're just going to bring them down, bring them across, and then from this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Shift D, just duplicate it upwards, and then we're going to click for both of them. So you notice now that the square's been selected. So what you want to do is just double click, and that will come straight off. You want to press Shift D and just move these across. Now, what I need you to do is just select all of them because we're going to put them at the same height. So when you do click, obviously, center part, this square is going to be selected. Just press Shift, double click, and then it'll come straight off. So now we've got all these. We want to go to G and just bring them down. And these will be the legs of our record player. Now, if you want to, you can select them all. Just select, just click, and then drag. Press G. Just bring it up to the plate base. And what I'm going to do, you don't have to add this, but I just add it so it gives it a bit more perspective, is a plane. Just scale it outwards. If you've not already, your gaming engine should be Cycles. When we take it off X-ray mode and we go on to this mode, you can see that there's just the box and there's no feet underneath. Now to correct this, select the plane underneath, come back onto your regular kind of rendering, so you're not wasting your computer. Press G, just bring it down a little bit so that your box for your record player is just sitting just above. Now, for this part, we want to start making some of the dials on top. We also want to put some speakers at the side and stuff like that. But what I'm going to do first and foremost is I'm going to make some material textures. So if we go down to the material properties right here, we want a black for the base. Actually, no, you know what we could do? We could actually do this as wood. So if we put this material as just type in wood for now, and then we'll do the nodes afterwards. Just press enter. We'll put this as a dark brown just for now, so we know that it's wood. If you go into edit mode, we're going to select all 4 sides, scroll with your middle wheel, just press it in, and then just move the mouse. And then just select the bottom as well if you can. You see that my bottom's selected there. What we want to do is press plus, and then we're going to go new. And then this one will be our black. So what I want to do now is click assign, and then we're going to change from this colour wheel to black. So in the end, you should have something like this. Now, as for our feet, you can have them as silver, you can have them whatever you would like. You could go to the drop down menu here, you could select wood or you could select black. To be honest with you, I'm going to make it silver. So I'm just going to put silver. We'll make this slightly metallic. Turn the roughness down just slightly. I'm also going to right click and I'm just going to click shade smooth. So we've got this nice metallic look. So now you notice that the rest of the feet don't share the same metallic look. So what you want to do, I'm just going to go right click, shade smooth. Go down to this drop down right here and you should have silver. And this is the one that we've just made. So shade smooth, drop down, silver. Take this one, shade smooth, drop down and silver. So now all the feet are the exact same material. So, for this wooden part right here, we will go to the nodes section. We will basically work out what we need to do with that. But as for the time being, we need to make the actual record player itself. Now, for the actual player itself, we want the disc to come right here. So, for size comparison, I'm just going to put a cylinder in. I'm just going to squish it down. Press G, move it up. Scale it outwards as much as you need to. Now this won't be our disc, but this is just to size comparison it. So we're going to put this at the back. So the record just sits just there. Then we can work from that so that we can get the rest of the positions in order. So I'm just going to put mine there actually. I think it looks better on that side. So what we need now is we're going to add 2 cylinders. So just do 1 cylinder for now and then we can clone it. So scale it downwards, G, and then we're going to move it to the side. Now at this point I'm going to put these as the silver because it just matches the colour scheme that we've got going on. Just move that across. Make sure that it's flush with the piece. Scale it down. Let's go G. Now with this cylinder we want to round it off just a little bit and give it maybe some prongs. So what we'll do, we'll go to edit mode. We'll go E-fret extrude. Just scale it over a little bit. And what we're going to do is Control R. And just put a little loop cut in there. Control R again. And then put a little loop cut in the bottom as well. So now what we're going to do is go into the faces. And we will select, I think it's every 2 faces to every 3, I believe. But it doesn't have to be perfect. So, no, I don't want that one. So we want to go 3 gap, 2 selected, all the way around. So 3 gap, 2 selected, 3 gap, 2 selected, 3 gap, and then 2 selected. And then we've got the 3 gap, 2 selected, and then we should be coming around to the other side. Now at this point you notice that there's a 3 gap, but you kind of don't have the space to do that pattern. Now at this point, we can actually use this as a dial point. So this is where the dial will stick out so we know where the dial is moving to. So if you go E-fret extrude, just leave it where it is. Scale inwards. So we've got some texture coming onto the outside, or you can scale outwards if you'd like. Yeah, let's try the scale outwards. So we've got E-fret extrude and then scale, just S for scale, and then S downwards. I think that actually looks a little bit better. So for this section right here, Let's take this part. And we're just going to go G, move it forward. And then just scale it inwards just slightly. And this will be where the dial is pointing to. Now you could take these little points inwards just a little bit if you wanted to. So you have texture, but it's not overly powerful texture. So you just press S, just scale them in. So you should be left with something like this. Now from this point you can go and click for shade. Shade smooth, right click shade smooth. Now at this point I'm going to change this to a silver texture to keep up with appearances on here. So press G, just move it across. And then we're going to go Shift D and make a secondary dial. Now we don't want the dials pointing in the same way because that looks a little bit samey. But maybe you could point the dial in an opposite direction. Now, on this part where we've got the dials, we want to put some text. So it should be a volume up, volume down button. And we should also have a speed button as well. I believe that they did at one point have a speed button. So, yeah, let's go with, if you go to add, and then we go to text. And then what we're going to do is go to edit mode, delete everything with backspace, and then we're going to type volume. Now don't worry that it's not in the right place at the moment because we can move this. So for volume. So 1 second, I'm just looking at this. 1 second, you can do it bold. I'm actually thinking of doing it bold. So bold actually might look better. So just type volume. Go back to your object mode. Did it? That's not typed it properly. Just press G, just bring it across, and then I'll just rotate this around. For some reason my thing's not working. Hold on. How bizarre. That's really weird. I swear I just typed that in. So take this, rotate this by 90. Just press R for rotate. 90. Should go 90. So you'll notice that it's upside down. We're going to press R again and just press 180. And that should bring it into the right position. So S to scale. Just scale it downwards slightly. G, bring it towards one of the dials that you've just made. Now at this point we can see that it's right underneath the dial. However, it's not at the correct position. So we're going to go G, just bring it up so that it sits flushly on top of the machine. S to scale. And then we're going to press G again just to bring it up. I'm just looking at my notes there. You know what, it's super weird. When I learn other languages, I look at English and I go, that's not spelt right. And it's like, it is spelt right, it's like my brain's just completely in a different world. So, if you go to your geometry and click exclude, extrude even, we can bring this text up a little bit. So, I'm just going to press G, just bring it up. For some reason it's on an angle. Just going to level this out a little bit. Just about there, I think. That should be fine. Let's press G, just bring it across. So now this will be your volume. You're going to put low and high on this side. So we're going to go Shift D, so duplicate it. Press G, just bring it across one. Go to edit mode, and we're just going to go low. And maybe just scale this down just a little bit. And then we're going to take this one, Shift D, move it across, and then we're going to put high on this one. Go back to your object mode and you should have this. Now for some reason, although I have typed it in, my text is off just slightly. So I'm just going to rotate these back again. Press G, bring that up. That is bizarre how it's off center unless I press something that I shouldn't have done. It should generally be 90 degrees. But for some reason it's on an angle. Don't ask. So I'm just going to move this dial over just a little bit. Press G. And then just move these a little bit more closer together. Maybe just shrink them down just slightly. I could do min and max, to be honest with you. Min and max might actually look better. So we just put max on this one. Yeah, it looks way better if you put max. I put min on this one. Scale this upwards just a little bit. Yeah, I think that looks way better. Okay, so we have the volume part of it. So now this second dial, we want speed. So you could put, for this one, Shift D. And then we're going to go to edit mode and just put speed in that one. So, for the arm, it's a very peculiar shape. So what you wanted to do with this one, I'm just going to take this circle right here that we had for reference. I'm just going to press G, just place it inwards a little bit. So, I think what I would like to do is shade smooth. I'm going to change this to black to go with the theme. And then what we need is a little bit of a hook on the side right here. So we need a cube, I would say. It's going to shrink it down from the top. Press G to bring it up. And what you want is the cube to go, say if you've got the circle here, you want the cube in kind of an angle at the side. So I'm just going to go to X-ray mode. Oh, you can't go X-ray mode here. Go to X-ray mode. There we go. Press G to bring it up a little bit. And then we're just going to manipulate the sides. So I'm just going to scale this downwards. Bring it up. So it sits flush. You want it just at the exact same size as your disc. So from here, you're going to go to edit mode. Take this side just here. We're going to go E for extrude. And then we're going to take this little face right here. And we're just going to go G and move it downwards. Just slightly. And then with our X-ray mode, we're going to select this face right here. And we're just going to press G and just bring it across. And this will be the underside. This is where the arm's going to sit for our piece. So, this is what you should have so far. Maybe just bring these two up just a slight touch. Just press G and you can press S to scale them outwards just a little bit. Oops, just going to scale this just slightly. I can't really see the edges on this. Come on. Yes. That should look roughly right. Okay, so now we want to make the arm, but I just want to bring this down. Just select the end face right here. I just press G. And, oh my gosh, just bring it down. It's maybe about there. I would say that's correct. Then we're going to go into materials, go to black. Okay, so now for the arm. So the arm is quite intricate, so it goes upwards and it rotates round, from what I've seen from old record players. So what we want to do, we want to make, I think, I think we'll go with, hold on, I'm just looking at my reference photos here. Yes, we want to make a little oval. I'm going to make a little oval. Let's go with cylinder. Stretch the cylinder out just slightly. Pull it inwards. Press G, just move it across. Scale. Press G to pull it up. Even flatten it beforehand. Then press G to pull it up. Just move it across. I'll place this right here. Scale. G again to bring it up. I'm going to shade this smooth, and then we'll go to make this black to go with our theme. Then we want to go add, and we want to go cylinder again. Scale it down. Press G to bring it up. You want to go on par with what we've just made, so go G. And this is where the arm's going to be caught on the end. Scale downwards, G. Just flatten it down just slightly. G, go down. We're going to go to edit mode. E for extrude, just slightly, and then scale inwards. E for extrude, scale inwards, and then E for extrude just upwards. Now this point is going to be an arc where the arm can be caught by our stand. So right click, shade smooth. We're going to go over here, go black. From this point on, we want to go to add cylinder again. Now this is going to be your silver, so you want to shade this upwards. Scale this upwards. Scale it down. Press G to bring it up. Rotate 90 degrees. And then we're going to slowly bring this over to here. Press 7. So you're right above. G. Scale it down. And then scale it across. Scale it down again. And then scale across. To roughly that size, I would say. Right click, shade smooth, and then we're going to put this as silver. Now, at this point we need to just bring this down a little bit. So it sits just here. Just looking at my photos that I have right here. Okay, so on this part at the end, what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this part so that we don't have to remake it. So Shift D, just duplicate it, and we're going to rotate it by 90. Then we're going to rotate it again by 180. G, and then just get it onto the end right there. Now what we want to do, edit mode. So you want to go to the side here, X-ray mode. Make sure that you're selecting the entire barrel, just at the end there, if you can see. So we just want this part and the end. Just going to scale this down just slightly. Scale it across slightly. So we're manipulating this part. Yeah, scale down just slightly again. Now at this point we're going to put a cube at the end of it, and then we're going to have another cube at an angle at the end of that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the piece that's supposed to be at the end in a straight line so that you guys can see what you're doing, and then we'll take that straight piece and then we'll put it at the angle. So it makes more sense visually wise. So let me see. So we want another cube, so let's add a cube, scale it down, G, bring it up, bring it across, we go right here, scale it down. Now you want your cube roughly bigger than this, so scale outwards. We might actually end up scaling this arm down a little bit. G, right there. So that's roughly how you'd want it. But you're going to have to flatten this out just slightly. So scale downwards to roughly there. That should be absolutely fine. We're just going to scale it outwards just a little bit on the sides. And then we're going to go to edit mode, select the end face, E for extrude, sorry, select the end face, scale it inwards just a little bit, E for extrude, and then we're going to turn it, so rotate, E for extrude, and then we're going to go rotate again, and just bring it round, and just make it slightly smaller every time that you do so. Press G, just move it across a little bit. Then we can go E for extrude, and this is where the other part of the arm is going to sit. So this vertices right here, you can see that it's a little bit wonky, so what we're going to do, just go to the ends, and just move them around a little bit so that they're more or less rounded. And just make sure that everything's relatively smooth. Nothing's jutting out in any odd direction. So at this point, we're going to have the parts that will sit right here. That will be the arm. So I'm hoping that I got the angle correct. I'm just going to shade this smooth. Going to add the black to it. Now, the arm part, I have a photo of what they look like, but it's a very one-sided photo. So what we have is we have an arm with a little needle on it, and we have a little piece where you can pick the needle up with your fingers. So from what I remember, my dad used to have a record player when I was a kid. We're gonna go to add. We're gonna go to cube. G, bring it upwards. I think our platform might be a little bit too short, but we can fix that afterwards, it's fine. So we want to scale this outwards a little bit. And what you want to do with it, go to edit mode, go to Control R, and just about here, we're just going to take this and we're just going to go to G and move it upwards. Someone with a very loud motorbike. And then this side we're just going to shrink this down just a little bit. Scale. Shrink it down just a little bit. It's going to take some tweaking to get this correct. Just pull this up. Just slightly. G, pull this one up. And then this part we're going to drop it down. So we're going to go for, sorry, 1 second. This face at the bottom right here. E for extrude. And we're going to go extrude it. But the only problem is we have a red part as well. So what we want to do is we'll go for Control R. Just cut that one in half. Go to faces. Bottom one here, E for extrude. And then this one, we're going to go E-fret extrude, but we're going to go a little bit further down. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab these two front faces here as well, and I'm just going to press G and just move these down, but I'm also going to scale them down as well. You want to make sure this bottom part is flat as possible. So this part right here is going to be red. So we don't have the colour for red, but we do have black. So we do all this black. Select these faces on the bottom. Oops, not that one. And then what we're going to do is press plus, assign, and we'll go red. So this will be the end where the needle is. You can place that in if you want to, or you can just leave it as that. So now we've got the sticky out part as well. I'll place the needle in actually. So what I want to do is go E-fret extrude. We're going to scale it down to a point. And what we're going to do with that point is we're just going to go G forward and then G towards the front. So we have this kind of little thing coming out. And then we're going to go Control R, just clip it around the side there and just press G and bring it back. And this will be the point where you lift the needle from the record itself. So they generally have a little bit of a groove on the top here as well. So I'm just going to go and Control R, just roll your scroll wheel. Control R, go for the middle, roll your scroll wheel again. And what we'll do, we'll take that centre part right there. We're going to go to your faces, click the centre, and just press G to move it downwards just a little bit. And then E-fret extrude. And just slightly pull it in. So when you go back to your object mode, you just have something akin to this. It doesn't have to be perfect. So we're just going to scale this down. I think mine may be a little bit too long, but we'll see what it looks like on the piece. So just bring it over. Now, the way that you want to angle this depends on where the rotator is. So, for me, you know what, I think I did this the wrong way around. It's okay though, we can flip it. So, generally with record players, the needle points more inwards. So this part right here is having the record player point outwards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to rotates, and we'll just rotate this by 180. So we bring it over to this side. Now this piece, I do realise is now the opposite. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to mirror it. I'm going to flip it with the y-axis. Because for some reason I have a left-handed one. I decided to make a mirror image of the one that I was looking at, so it was it was a unique one, but I think yeah, I just kind of wanted to make something unique where it was on the opposite side, but I think I kind of messed up the angle on it. So anyway, so it's a left-handed record player. Many of them are right-handed because most people are right-handed, but this one's a left-handed one. We're just going to move this across. It's right there. I say it's left-handed because you're having to go like this with your left hand and pull it across rather than grabbing it with your right hand. I wanted to make it different from the image that I was looking at on Pinterest, so that I wasn't infringing somebody's copyright. So, if I scale this outwards just a little bit, I just move it over. It should be fine, I think. Scale. And then for this part in the middle, we're just going to make some ridges. So, go on to the top face right here. go E for extrude, scale it inwards just slightly, E for extrude, scale it inwards, just go down slightly, scale it inwards, press G, go upwards until you're not clipping the piece right there, E for extrude, scale it inwards, E for extrude again, just bring it up just slightly, scale it inwards just slightly, E for extrude, keep it where it is, and then we're just going to scale inwards. E for extrude, bring it up slightly, scale inwards. It should be relatively flat. And then we're going to go E for extrude, scale inwards, and bring it up just like that. E for extrude again, scale it inwards, and then we're going to drop it. And then E for extrude, scale inwards, and then we can go E for extrude again. But this time we're just going to make it a small point. So now we kind of have this little part where you can place the record onto. So, the next part is finishing off this arm, actually. Let me see. I think I'm trying to differ from the design that I'm looking at because I don't want to infringe. So, let's go with, we'll go with a cylinder. Rotate on its side, 90 degrees. G, bring it over. And we're just going to place this one on the end. This will be the end of the arm. So it should just go there, just flush. Then we're going to go with this face on the front, E for extrude, scale it downwards so it's just touching the pole, E for extrude so it's kind of got a little bit of a sleeve to it, and then just scale it inwards just slightly. Now you might have to take the whole thing and just press G and move it across and down. So you've got this cylinder look. Now, with this one shade smooth, we're going to go with black. From this point, we can go for the end right here. So E for extrude, take this last face, E, scale downwards, and we can kind of have this fancy kind of end to it, I guess you could call it that. So it's almost like you could just grab hold of it and then move it across. Scale that downwards. And then we'll have the joint underneath that will rotate the arm. So what we want to do is go to object mode, add a cylinder, scale it downwards, scale it up, G to move it, and we'll scale it all the way down, G again to move upwards, and just get it so that it is on the cusp of the arm, just right there. So it's kind of like a posh version of a record player, I guess. Not your average one. So there's the arm for the record player. Maybe make some speakers. Maybe that's an idea, but I want to put the wood texture on, so we're going to go to shading. Let's see. Shading, we want to go with, just going to move that to the side. I'd say it's noise texture for sure. Let's add a noise, see what happens. We go colour to base colour. The rendered version. Do I have it on cycles? Yes, I do. Ah, okay. So, let's see. 1 second, I think I messed up. So let's just undo what we did. Clicking this one. Let's go to wood. This is the reason why it's not working, because I've not selected wood. Add the noise texture. We're just going to scale this upwards. You can distort it as well. See what that one looks like. Scale it upwards, scale it downwards. You have some funky patterns on it. Change the roughness out, the detail. I do kind of like that pattern that it's got though. Maybe we'll keep it. So yeah, you've got the noise texture, and then we want to add the colour ramp. So let's go plus, and then we'll add the brown in. Or at least shades of. Plus again. Bring those across. So just turn down the roughness just slightly so it gives it that kind of wood look. Now don't worry about the bottom here, we can fix that in a moment. So if you wanted to mess around with the roughness, you could actually add a Veroni texture and place colour to roughness, and you'll get this. So you see that these parts are kind of shiny and these parts that aren't. So if you scale this up, you actually get this really funky pattern going. You can also place a bump. So if we add a bump texture in the middle right there, and we place colour to height, as such we can get little cracks running across the top. So if we just pull this out a little bit, it looks like it's a bit scratched up. So it's had some wear and tear. We could also remove the randomness. Make it a little bit more squared. We could change these settings. Detail as well. So you've got this record player with a little bit of scratching on it from wear and tear, and you've also got the detail in there. So as far as this wood texture goes, we might want to use a mapping tool. Just go for the scale right here. You can map this outwards, stretch it out a little bit. I would remove this distortion though, if you're going to do that. Have this wavy kind of texture with it. I'm just experimenting at the moment, so you guys can follow along with this if you'd like, or you can experiment yourselves with what I'm doing. But I'm just showing you in general what these settings can do. Yeah, I quite like the distortion that it's got. That's quite funky. Maybe we could add some purple in there as well. Maybe just lighten it up a little bit. or some greens, like make it a bit funky. Psychedelic. I kind of like that. So we'll go with that. So for the base, for the black, we want to keep the black as black. For this back piece right here, we'll take the arm. We're going to go Shift-D. Oops. Go back to layout, actually. Go Shift-D. Scale it inwards just a little bit. And then we're just going to scale it outwards. Now this is going to be the back part where we're plugging things in. So just Shift-D it a couple of times. And these will be the points where you put the speakers in, the ports and all that kind of stuff. And maybe we want a glass lid as well. So if you go to Cube, it's already in the centre, but press G, bring it upwards. And what we can do is we can go Edit Mode, Control R, oops, wrong side. Control R into the middle. Scale it outwards, just slightly. Select his face at the bottom right here. Scale it outwards so that it fits over the top. Press G. So that it sits and fits. Press A. Scale downwards. Press G. And then what we can do is we can rotate it. Press G, move it across. Press G, move it up. And then what we can do with this side, because obviously this is going to be solid at the bottom here, press for the bottom face, E for extrude, and then just follow the contours of the outside one. So just pull this in. G, move it upwards. Scale it down. It's a bit fiddly when it's on its side. I should have really done this when it was flat. Yeah, you know what, we could do this when it was flat. So we know the size. Just backtrack just slightly. Press G. Move it upwards. Press this middle face right here. E for extrude, don't move it. Scale inwards just slightly. E for extrude. Bring it up to top part here, scale inwards. E for extrude, bring it up to the top part again, scale inwards. Just bring it down just slightly, G. And then we'll rotate it so that it sits on the side just there. Just leave a little gap at the back. We're going to put hinges in. So what we can do for the hinges, actually, we can take these parts at the back that we've already made, Shift-D, just scale them out just slightly, scale them downwards just slightly, press G, and then rotate them by 90 degrees. Press G again, move across, G downwards, scale, and then we're going to go Shift-D, select both of them, Shift-D, and then move them across to the opposite side. Now, as for this top right here, we can go to New, we could go Glass, and then we could go Principled BSDF, and we can change this to Glass BSDF. Change down the roughness as well. So when we go to the render tab, we've got this. Now we bring the roughness up just slightly, so it's got a couple of scratches on it, I'd say. A little bit worn down plastic that's been used over the years. I'm just going to change this background a little bit to more of a grey. See if that enhances it a little bit. That's what we should have at the moment. So the next piece that we could make for this, we could take one of these again, Shift D, and we could just place it on the end of the lid. So just rotate that round 90 degrees, scale it outwards, scale it down, G, go across, scale downwards, we kind of have this silver piece just here. And from that, go Shift D again, G, and then rotate it 90 degrees, scale it downwards, G, and then we want to put this just on the edges. So there's a buffer zone between the glass and the actual record player itself. Shift D, duplicate it across, put it onto the opposite side. And now it should look something like this. There's a little bit more detail on it, there's a little bit more care with it. Okay, so once we've got to this stage, we want to make some speakers. Speakers. I'm trying to find some speakers that would look really good with something like this. So if we go to we'll make some basic ones actually. So we go to cube, scale it upwards, G, bring it across. Take this, edit mode, E for extrude, just scale it outwards just slightly so it's got a little bit of a bevel. Take this face right here, E for extrude, don't move it, scale it inwards, and we're just going to bring this up and across, and then we're going to go E for extrude again, and then just scale it inwards. And then from here, what we'll do, we'll take a plane, press G, rotate it 90 degrees, press G again, just bring it forward, G in the middle, scale downwards, scale across just slightly. Now what you want to do is make this as central as you possibly can. And what we're going to do is scale outwards, edit mode, and we're just going to go subdivide, 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 until you've kind of got this kind of pattern right here. And then what we're going to do is go to your modifiers, and we will go for wireframe, and you'll end up with this kind of look. So change this to black. Yeah, we got black right there, and then we're going to put this as wood. So that should change that one to wood. I'm going to also shade that smooth. Press G, just rotate them inwards or outwards, wherever you'd like to. And then we should end up, with all said and done, something like this. That would be a basic premise for a record player, so to speak. A little bit more advanced, but I would definitely say that I'd use that. You could add some wires into the background if you wanted to as well. I think I remember how to add wires. I could do that for you right now, actually. But yeah, this is basically what you should have. Let's go back to regular viewing. So these little points right here, if you go Shift D, Just place them into the back of the speakers. And from what I remember, it's been a while. It's been a while. I have done this during the tutorial, but there's certain things that you do. Just rotate it in if you need to. But there are certain things that you do within your tutorials that you do forget about after a while of doing other things. So I do believe that if you want to make wires at the back here, you go to add, and then it should be curve, if I got it right. We're doing knots. No, we don't want knots. Curve profiles. Oh, I'm pretty sure. Catenary. Got to be. It's got to be. Right, you notice that my my stuff's in the way right now. I'm just going to turn off the screencasting keys. Has to be this one. I do believe it is. Let's extrude this just slightly. Yep, there it is. But we want it kind of straight. Bevel it. Ah, there we go. So we do have a wire coming into the back of here, but it's not quite the wire that we want it to be. There we go. So that's kind of a wire. I'm not too sure how to pull it from this side, but if we just maybe move this, no. Well, that's your basic wires anyway for catenary. If you can get those working, that's excellent. For this one, probably put this right at the end here. You could probably use grease pencil actually to do this with. So we're going to add. I'll find out how to actually get it to curve, because usually when I do catenary kind of connections, it's wires that I do for street stuff. So if we go to curve, knots, catenary. Modify this a little bit. Maybe make it a bit thinner. Drop it down just slightly. Yeah. I think that would be roughly correct. Just place it as the black. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed the tutorial, please like, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Yeah, so have a great day. See you in the next one.